Hey guys, ramen time. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, so there's the standard menu and house specials. So this is a meat-based broth, and they've got tonkotsu and a few other things. So have a look at this one. So the larger menu is similar to this one, and they're promoting their house special. I assume this guy's the owner. So, whenever you go to a ramen shop, you should always go with the house special. So, I'm going to go with the house special. And women always wait for you to order so they could order something else so they can eat what you ordered. They're an absolute sneaky, aren't you, Kurio? Look at that sneaky.
Yeah, no. Good.
You want to salt one?
Yeah, these are tonkotsu.
Okay, these are salt based.
Yeah, and do you want
What's this one?
karaage?
Okay, one serve of karaage and ice cream. So this is a tablet system. I hate these things. We're getting the waitress over. We're dinosaurs.
ではこちらですね。こちらの肉そばをこちらがお一つですね。はい。
で、あともう一つこの塩のゆずネギ塩ラーメン。
ゆずネギ塩ラーメンがお一つ。
はい。で、あと
唐揚げね。はい。
美味しい唐揚げがお一つ。
あと一番
チョコ。
チョコレートのアイスクリームにします。
こちらはいつお持ちいたしますか？
食後でいいですか？
食後でかしこまりました。
So the fat man's getting some chocolate ice cream.
こちらでご注文内容間違いないでしょうか？
はい。
ではこちら注文するのボタンを押していただいてよろしいですか？で、こちらデザートをお持ちするタイミングでまたこちらの店員呼び出してお呼びいただいてよろしいですか？はい、いきます。
あ、これですか？
はい、このままですね、閉じていただければ。はい、ありがとうございます。お願いします。
Okay. The high-tech process is done. Gone by. That's really weak, cold matcha tea. My wife just admitted she was going to order what I ordered, and then ordered another one so she could eat both. Absolutely shocking. There we are, meaty broth.
Little stirs.
Rubber dub dub.
You want to do something? This one pepper.
Yeah, pepper.
Pepper and also this one is fried garlic.
Always white pepper.
Yeah. And this one chili.
Yep. Bit of chili. let's get into it. Okay. Pork broth, seaweed, grated flavoured radish, spring onions, and chili. Awesome.
速報ということなので、またこちらで呼び出しボタンで押していただければお持ちいたしますので。アイスクリーム。はい、はい、お願いいたします。はい、できなさい。
Okay, chicken has arrived, and when the fat man wants his ice cream, he just presses a button on here. Ketchup, mayonnaise, disgusting. Fried chicken. Chicken by itself. It's the way to go. There we are. She already wants to eat mine already. Let's have a look at this one. Salt base, roast pork, eggs, spring onions. Fried chicken time. Down the hatch. Getting through this, really good broth. And done. Arigatou gozaimasu. The fat man has to have his ice cream. Itadakimasu. Stealing the ice cream from you. Hanzai. There we are, here's the bill. Rock and roll. Made it. You even put your own money in. Yeah, there's the bill, and you pay your bill by yourself. First time I've seen this. Okay. And press change, and money will come out. Look at that. First time for me. Okay. Let's go. So there we are. That is a definite 8 out of 10. That's a great ramen shop. Anyway, we're off to the garden centre. So guys, just heading to the garden centre, but I might run you through some realities of running a ramen shop. It's sort of a bit of a dream for some foreigners, having their own ramen shop, but it's probably the hardest business you could ever do in Japan, and the reason is there's a $10 ceiling in everybody's mind of what a bowl of ramen should cost. So no matter what product you can come up with, you can never sell it for more than $10 for 1,000 yen. So to have a profitable ramen shop, due to the low cost of the dish, you need to have heavy foot traffic. And when you have heavy foot traffic, you have high rents. And areas with heavy foot traffic, the owners of the buildings rarely sell them. So really prominent positions, they're usually owned by wealthy people, and they never sell the buildings, so they just rent the buildings out, and they get good rents for them because they're in great areas, and they don't really care who runs the shop or what type of restaurant it is or whatever, as long as the rents are coming in. And there's a lot of pressure on owners on these businesses that need high turnover. So as you saw in the video just now, they don't really have the leftover profits to even employ staff to stand there for 5 minutes, for a couple of minutes, and take your money and offer change. Same with the ordering system. They have waitresses and such staff in the restaurant, but they don't have a lot of them. So people are ordering on these tablets, and it just takes a minute or two savings per customer, and over the course of a day it can add up to a whole day's wages when you were to extrapolate the savings out for each customer. And these little savings is what makes one ramen shop more competitive than the other, all things considered, price of the dishes being the same, and quality as well. So it's an absolute dog eat dog type of business, and people love ramen, so there's always a market for ramen, but there isn't always a market for someone who doesn't know how to run these shops. And for what might seem cooking a big pot of stock and chucking some noodles in and half an egg and whatever might seem easy, but there's a lot more to the business. And anyone who wants to run a ramen shop, I suggest you go work for somebody for 5 years, and not just somebody, go and work for 10 people, go and work for 20 people, and find out what the business is all about, and see if that changes your mind. The fad about owning ramen shops, there was a lot of sort of movies where they were centered around a family or a couple running a ramen shop, and it's sort of romanticized, but it's a hot, busy environment, a lot of stress, a lot of people you got to deal with, and a lot of costs. It's not something that I'd ever want to do, and I've worked in kitchens over 20 years. I just see the whole business as a big headache. And I have actually met some foreigners who have come to my cafe and asked me a few questions, and I've just told them to steer clear of it, so I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but they asked the questions, I gave them the answers. So anyway, these ramen shops are really good to eat at, but I wouldn't run one. So there are ramen shops that are run like franchises, and these have franchise fees as well, and sets of rules, and you have to follow their recipes, or maybe even buy the product or the stock from the centralized distribution point. And some chain, they call them chain here, so basically a franchise. Some of them are actually quite good, and I don't know if they make any money for the owners or not, but their products are good. So anyway, we're almost here at the Super Center. Rock and roll. Okay, heading out. We just got some potting mix for seedlings because we're going to be planting our cafe garden out probably next week. So for anybody thinking to open a cafe or restaurant in Japan, this is my opinion and my experience with different types, is the most profitable food business, most profitable restaurant you can open is a steakhouse. So there's a bit of psychology behind this. People go to steakhouses occasionally, so they don't mind paying a lot more for things. So it's basically, it connects to the product. So every product has a ceiling. A chicken dish has a ceiling, believe it or not. There's only so much you can sell a chicken dish for. It doesn't matter what you put in it. You could put millions of dollars worth of truffles inside a chicken breast, and the ceiling for a chicken breast is $40 or $50. No matter what you do, you won't be able to sell it for more than that. But somebody going to a steakhouse, let's say there's a dish and it's $70. You could probably sell the same dish for $90 and they wouldn't blink. So the margins on these steakhouses are absolutely massive. So people going out for a steak, there's really not much of a ceiling you can put on a steak. People will pay a lot of money, but pretty much every other thing you can think of, there's a ceiling on. There are other products, other types of restaurants like seafood restaurants, but they have a lot of headache because seafood selling at the high end, it must be fresh, and ideally it must be hours old for people to pay good money for. But that's not the case with beef and steakhouses. You can actually age your product out and actually get more for it. So it's definitely the number one restaurant to open. But it also requires the most capital because people going to steakhouses, they like the restaurants to be fitted out well. So it requires a lot of capital to get the feeling and the ambience of the place correct. But if you have the money and the experience, that's what I would get into. But you can only open what you can afford, I suppose. And I've done the same. I've just got a little cafe at my place. That's all I could afford to do. And I built my oven myself, and it's second-hand furniture and all that sort of stuff. But if you're going to open up a restaurant in Japan, I'd go to steakhouse. It's a growing niche as well. People eating high end, different types of beef from around the world. Definitely has the best potential. I would also stay away from fads. Japan is famous for fads, and especially food fads. So something can be really fashionable, but it just doesn't have the legs. It's sort of, people open up during fads and they try and make as much money as they can, in as short a time as they can, and some do well out of it, but most people just lose all their money. So if there's anything that's a fad, if you want to do it as a long-term business, you need to stay away from that as well. Bakeries have been a fad in Japan for the last 4 years, and they're the number one closing down food business in Japan at the moment, from what I hear, is bakeries. So people basically putting out high-end breads, really tough business because a lot of overhead. You could do it if you had a setup like mine, where you're doing it sort of half on your own property, so you don't have the rent and things like this to consider. But selling high-end bread is a tough business. As far as food businesses go, steakhouses for restaurants is what I would look into if I had capital, and also chocolate shops, sweet shops. These businesses have legs. You're dealing with products that aren't going to go off very quickly, so you can manage your stock levels, manage your quality a lot better, and also has good margins. And people that buy chocolate, they're not very price conscious, so people don't want to spend whatever it costs for good chocolate. So that also requires like a really nice shop setup. Not as expensive as a steakhouse, obviously, but that's something I would consider as well if you've got a bit of chocolatier experience. So I'm going to wind this video pretty soon, but there's also another thing to consider with food businesses. Is a lot of trade is done at lunchtime, and whichever area you're in, you never want to exceed 8% of somebody's take-home pay for the day. So if the area you live in, the salary is $80 a day, you really don't want to be selling a product for any more than $7. That's sort of where you're getting into luxury territory for the working person. So if you're set up somewhere near office buildings, you might have a small shop. Doesn't matter what it is. Could be a curry shop, could be a ramen shop, could be anything. Try and keep your price under 8%. So whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're good at, whatever your idea is, if you can't put your product on the table for under 8% of the people, your potential customers in the area, I would take a step back and really do a little bit more analysing if your idea is going to work or not, because people generally don't like to spend more than 8% of their daily salary on lunch. This is a Mike Neko. Look at that, beautiful cat.
Let's go walk home.